In this video, I'm going to be going over how to actually start an AI agency in 2026. Now, if you're not new to my channel, you'll know I've been building this video for a long time, and this is the video, it is finally out. But the reason I say actually, and it's going to be the whole premise of this video, is because the AI agency is arguably one of the hottest business models on the market right now. And there's a ton of people taking advantage of it just for their info, right? Just for the courses. And this is what the gurus slash grifters all teach you, right? And this is almost an exact replica of a video I actually watched while doing research for this. This is what it is, right? They pick a niche, right? Blah, 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 pick a niche, pick an offer, fulfill for the offer, completely delegate out the offer. It is absolute rubbish. I'm telling you right now, it is absolute rubbish. This is as far from the truth as it could be. And in this video, I'm gonna show you the non-guru method. This is gonna be, I'm not trying to sell you anything. This is gonna be the truth. This is gonna be the raw stuff on how to actually start an AI agency. Now, what is my say in all of this, right? At the end of the day, who am I to speak on this? I myself have spent over $20,000 on my AI agency, either on courses, on ads, on consulting, on mentorships. I've spent over $20,000 as I'm making this video. I'm 19, by the way, so this is pretty legit. I've been building for a year and documenting daily for 8 months my AI agency. Again, if you guys aren't new to my channel, you'll know this, but I've been documenting since 8 months ago. This is my first video on the AI agency, and I posted every single day for 209 days. That's the video we're on today. My AI agency. So I've showed this, right? I've been building daily. I bought Wyatt Roderick and Carson Reed's AI agency course, their 5K course, and I was kicked out from it after 6 months because I saw through, they don't actually run their own agency. They're just trying to sell you this. Screenshots for everything. I tried to text them, ignored. You guys kind of get the point there. Additionally, I built a business channel speaking on everything I've learned, everything on the AI systems part of it, more of, me trying to advertise for the business side of this, but I know my stuff. I've been making videos for, I believe, 8 or 9 months on this one. It's at 600 subscribers, doing decently well. And then of course, on the AI agency side, we have landed a couple deals, right? This one was for $6,600. This one was one of our biggest ones. Again, you guys will know the story behind that one, but regardless, we did land it. This one for $1,300, this was February 5th, $1,600, $1,000, $400. So I know what I'm doing, right? We've made some deals, all of this, and additionally on Facebook, right? Just some more screenshots, spent thousands of dollars in some of our biggest ad campaigns. This is some not testimonials, but just some good words from some of our clients we've heard. And finally, I've built an AI agency community on Discord. It's 350 members, all with people having their own AI agency or trying to start it. Full of killers in there. We're active on there every single day. This is just a screenshot of the other day. But that is me. Now, for the meat and bones of this video. How do you actually start and position? And again, this is gonna be raw. This is gonna be the true workings behind the AI agency. So buckle up for this. So the first thing, as much as I hate to reference what a lot of these gurus talk about in their videos, it is the niche, right? At the end of the day, you have to know who you're selling to. And there are 4 main things to consider for this. Number 1 is your ticket price. Number 2 is your personal knowledge. Number 3 is your serviceability. And then number 4 is the blue ocean. Now, the first one we're gonna go over is the ticket price. Now, this is pretty obvious. If you guys have done your research, you probably know this, but very, as a high level overview, it has to have a high cost per job, right? If your ticket price is $10, it's not gonna be as profitable for you if you're charging, an upwards of $2,500 service, right? But if you can have a high cost per job and like 1 to 2 jobs equals an ROI, you're even better if 1 job can equal like a 3x ROI, then it makes sense for you to charge those higher prices, and then people are gonna be more likely to pay them and to stick with you, right? So very, very simple here. The best things to target are the high ticket. Now, the second part of this is personal knowledge. Now, this is arguably one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten, and the best piece of advice I give for people knowing how to start and knowing which niche to pick. But basically, if you have any personal experience with any high ticket niche, double down on it, right? And the reason behind this is pretty simple, but you're gonna understand the workings behind it, right? You're gonna understand the slang, the problems, the pain points, all of this, and it's gonna well equip you for everything else on the agency to come. Now, reason you'll understand your ICP that much more. Now, this is a personal example for me myself. So I myself am a power engineer by trade. I'm an engineer by trade. I work with a lot of systems, and specifically I work with HVAC. So I didn't have as much experience as, like an HVAC technician, but I understand HVAC, and that is why I went into it, right? Arguably the best niche I could have chosen out of everything. That's a personal example. Now, serviceability. This is another part of choosing your niche, and it has to have a high serviceability and want. So I want you to ask yourself, can it advertise on Facebook, right? Can it advertise on Facebook? Really good niche, for this. Real estate's one, remodeling, home improvement is one. Are people on Facebook going to see this ad and have a chance that they're going to buy, right? If you're targeting, missiles, it's probably not a good niche. But if you're targeting, remodels, it could be a good niche. Now, a bonus part of this is that it's better if the job cycles are relatively short, right? So we actually worked with a guy. He was doing more high-end remodel jobs, and it wasn't quick turnaround. Because of that, the job life cycles were like 2 months. We were running on a performance-based deal. It was kind of a pain in the butt because it took us 2 months for us to get the results that we got them. So it's even better if the job cycles are relatively short. Oh yeah, talk about my first client. I tried to structure this. This took me like a week to make, so I'm kind of going down as I go. But that was one of our first clients, right? And it really sucked with that. So if the job cycles are relatively short, that is even better. Now, the last part of choosing your niche is having it be blue ocean. As Hormozi said, right, if you guys have read $100 million offers, $100 million leads, you'll know this. The riches are in the niches. I like to say niches, but the quote, riches are in the niches. What does that mean, right? It means to niche down in your selection, additionally paired with personal experience. Now, a real-time example of this is actually one of the guys in our AI community. His name is Lucas. Lucas, if you're watching this, I hope you're watching this. So when he was first starting out, he didn't really know what niche to pick, and his dad was a woodworker and a cabinet maker. Now, I didn't look into woodworking as much as Lucas, but as soon as I heard that, this is what I told him, and I'm gonna do a little bit of a contrast here. So woodworking, let's see if it hits the 4 pillars. Is it high ticket? Yes, woodworking is definitely high ticket. I'll make this green for you guys. Woodworking is high ticket. Serviceability, does it have a relatively short job life? Yeah, right? Unless it's a really high-end job, it's probably not gonna be more than, let's say, a week or 2. Personal knowledge, right? His dad is literally a woodworker. He's grown up around this. He understands the pain points, all of this. Have that, and then blue ocean, woodworking is way better than remodeling, right? Because it's way more niche down and there's gonna be less competition. For that, it is a blue ocean. Now, I'm gonna compare this to remodeling. So remodeling, is it high ticket? Yes, it's high ticket. Does it have a good serviceability? Yes, it has a good serviceability. Is it paired with personal knowledge? Now, it's kind of paired with personal knowledge because woodworking, cabinet making is, pretty similar to that. So I'm gonna say kind of, and then is it a blue ocean? No, it is not a blue ocean, right? Everyone and their mom is targeting remodeling companies. Because of this, right, just strictly based on these 4 areas I talked about, woodworking is going to be the way to go compared to just regular remodeling. So that is everything for the niche, right? These 4 areas, make sure it hits everything and go from there. Now, the next part of this is going to be your offer. Now, the next few parts I go over, I think 2, 3, and 4 are going to be huge, and is going to be something that nobody talks about because this is the real sauce. This is the people, this is the stuff that these gurus get you to buy their course for. But number 1 is going to go over the offer. And with AI, there's many things we can fulfill for, but there's 3 main channels. There's going to be 3 main buckets that it falls into. Number 1 is running AI ads. Number 2 is an AI sales team. And then number 3 is the task automation. Now, with what I run, right, I have my own kind of thing, but I'll explain what each is and how you are going to package it. It's very important how you package this, right? Packaging this and marketing this is going to be the most important part of this, right? But firstly, we'll go over each of these and kind of explain how they work, kind of explain a little bit how to set it up and go from there. So the first thing we're going to look at is the AI ads. Now, basically what we're going to do here is just create AI UCG ads for our avatar. Now you can go AI UCG ads or you can go static ads. We find AI UCG ads gets better quality, especially if you're fulfilling for a high ticket person trying to get those leads, right? But you're just going to create those through our avatar. Now, creating ads is going to be a huge part of your process. One piece of advice that I always give for people in my community, the people who ask me in my DMs, I always say, if you have the money, run ads immediately, right? And you will hear this time and time and time again. Ads are going to be the most predictable way to scale. They're going to be the best way to scale. Creating ads is going to be the biggest part of your process. And with that, it's going to be very important to learn how to create it. Now, I could spend an hour just talking on how to create ads for my clients, how to create ads for my agency. So I'm not going to reference it here, but I am going to make a video on this. And as well, I have made a video like this on my business channel. This is more for the client side, but you guys can check that out. I'll link it in the description below. I'm going to make a full in-depth video on that here soon. But as a brief overview, right, to get 80% of the knowledge I have, I want you guys to read these 3 books. Number 1 is $100 Million Leads by Hormozi. And then number 2 on his playbooks. Even if you guys don't have the playbooks, I think you can get them on YouTube, whatever. Read Goated Ads and read Hooks. Once you read these 3 books, you will understand 80% of what you need to know with ads. So that is how that's going to work. Now, a very high level overview on how this AI ads part of it is going to work and how you're going to fulfill for your client is you're going to create these AI UCG or static ads, right, for their avatar that they're trying to target. You're going to log into their Facebook business manager. So you're going to get access to their page, to their ad account, all of this. You're going to set up a traffic campaign to creative test and find the winners. Again, if you guys are new to ads, don't know what a creative test is, I will make a video on this, but this is a whole nother topic for, again, it's out of the scope of this video. This is going to be more the theory, so I can set myself up for, you guys' feedback to see everything that I can do from there. And then you're going to set up your engagement campaign after you found the winners. And then you're going to link the ads to the website or to the forms for the leads. Website for quality, forms for quantity. You guys can play around with that, see what works best for you and the service that you're targeting. But that is the high level overview on how that is going to work and how you're going to create those ads. Now, number 2 is the AI sales team. And this is arguably, one of the more attractive, one of the more efficient ways of an AI agency. This is one of the most valuable info that you can get within this whole entire thing. But it comes down to 2 ways. Number 1 is the AI caller, and then number 2 is the AI appointment setter. So for the AI caller, there's 2 times to use this. Number 1 is going to be your confirmation. So basically how it's going to work is you're going to confirm via the AI caller once a lead comes in to Go High Level. We're going to be using Go High Level. It's going to be our main CRM for everything. We're going to do this through Assistable or retail. Now, we use Assistable for ourselves, but we're looking at getting into retail too. Assistable is really easy to connect with Go High Level, and that's what we've been doing. But you guys can play around with there. I'll give, like a video on that as well. Again, this is going to be a little bit more of the theory, so I can just set myself up for the videos for you guys. But Assistable or retail, you guys can do that, hook it up to Go High Level. And the reason why this is so effective, and this is a big marketing thing, and actually I'll talk about it at a little bit later at this video, but it's speed to lead, right? If you guys don't know about speed to lead is so important. This is going to be one of the biggest selling points with our AI system. But basically, if we can contact the lead within the first 60 seconds they opt in, they're going to have a 400% increased chance of actually converting. So we're going to use that to our advantage, right? And with the AI caller, it can do it in sub 60 second every time. And then you get, 400% more clients, 400% more sales, 95% time back. But that's more on the selling side. Those are some really good stats that you guys can use as you market for this. And then secondly, it's going to be for leads that don't book. So you can think of a lead that opts in if you guys are running an opt-in and a booking page. A lead that opts in but doesn't book. Basically, you're just going to set up automations within Go High Level to usher them to basically book if they don't book. So to do that, very high level overview, you can just create a new prompt and an agent inside of Assistable or on retail, hook it up to your Go High Level, then the AI caller will book those inbound calls into your calendar or confirm them, right? Getting the chance of that lead to show up. Now the AI messenger, this is going to be your bread and butter. This is the AI appointment setter, some people call it. Basically, I like to call it the AI sales team, but it's going to basically respond and keep the conversation going in your messages and in your email. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to create AI agents for each conversation stream. So you can do this on Instagram if your leads have, their leads coming in from Instagram. You can do this on Messenger, do this on text, you can do this on email. Basically anywhere we can have a conversation, that is where we can set it up. And then from there, you're just going to fill the knowledge base with knowledgeable prompts per business. So we have our own prompt that we use. We spent a lot of money to figure out the best ways to do this, a lot of mentors, but you're just going to get a prompt, high-level overview. But basically, what we're gonna do is set this up through Make, through OpenAI, and through Go High Level. And I'll go over this. So I'll show you guys my Go High Level and kind of the automation and how it works. So again, this is a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. It's gonna be one that I make here, you know, in the coming days, in the future as we go. But basically, we're gonna have a webhook set up in another automation, and then it's gonna trigger through here. And then this is a whole automation, right? So basically, if a lead double text, if a lead booked a call, if a lead doesn't book a call, all of this, it's gonna be handled through our AI agent. Right, there's a lot to this, but this is a very brief overview on how this is going to look and how it's all going to be set up, how it's going to work behind the scenes. But right from Facebook, going to go onto your Go High Level, going to hit that webhook, going to go through our Make, going to go through our OpenAI, and continue that stream all the way through to the end, right, until they hop on that call with you. But that is how the AI sales side of it is going to look and what is kind of entailed within that. And then number 3 is task automation. So this is going to be the one that most people talk about, right? Because it's the easiest one to talk about, arguably the one that you don't need the most knowledge on and people can just sell you on a course. But it's just automating repetitive manual tasks, right? So some common examples of that: reminders, follow-ups, confirmations, tracking, customer support. This can all easily be automated within, like Go High Level. Another thing we do, right? This is a real example from one of our clients. A repetitive manual task that was being done and done again was more on the estimate side. So you guys can get creative with this, right? Like whatever can be automated, you guys can look into solving. One of them was the estimates, and we found the software called Easy Estimate, right? It's something that we've implemented into with some of our clients, stuff that we've recommended. And it's just another thing that makes us that more valuable, right? And then all of these easily done through Go High Level, through the OpenAI setup, all of this. And then, yeah, again, goes through Go High Level. You can set up these booking reminders. If you guys can get a snapshot, you guys can get our basic snapshot for free. Again, first link below in the description. If you guys, there's probably a lot of snapshots out there that people are giving. As long as you have, some sort of booking reminder set up, they're pretty easy to set up. But as long as you have that, right, it's going to be all automated. It'll never have a chance to miss. And then additionally, you can also set up the AI agents within there as well. So, if they're asking you a question, if you want them to be more, nurtured for the call, you can integrate that in there and set those up. Now, depending on how you market this, you can have all of these in one offer. And it's not limited to one, but one thing, you don't necessarily want to be the Superman for these people, but one really good thing that we set up, with me and my team, we'll front end task automation, right? Like saving people time. We're targeting the higher quality people. And then from there, if they're a little bit lower quality, right? Or if they're looking to actually get more jobs, they're just relying on word of mouth. We will also set up that ads for them, right? Be like, well, we can take over your marketing. We can set that up for you. Additionally, do it with our AI sales team so every lead is captured. Then it goes through a whole process and we become really the back end of their business. And with that, only good things can happen if you're not scared of the work. But then we become the back end and we become just that much more valuable for these people. You don't want to necessarily be their Superman, but you can do each in one. If you're already creating it, you might as well. So that is how that's going to work. Now, marketing offer. How you're going to market your AI offer. This is arguably the most important aspect of the AI agency. And this is one that I have seen nobody talk about, right? I've watched Carson Reed. I've watched, I'm not going to say the other two guys that I see because, I kind of talk with them. We're in like the same community and they do their stuff. But, at the end of the day, some of their stuff is marketed just to get that info product up. But again, referencing back to this, and this was a real thing. This thing in sequence was number 2, pick an offer, right? It wasn't even explain the offer, just pick an offer. And then number 3 was fulfilling for the offer. Where do you market the offer? Where do you create your offer? Any of this. Where do you close the deal, right? So marketing the offer, this is going to be really important, right? With AI, how are we going to separate ourselves, right? How are we going to make ourselves seem that much more valuable? Now, first, you're going to have to figure out who you're marketing to. Now, as I talked about before, you're going to figure out your ICP through your niche, but the more specific, the better. And I'll give you guys a very good example of this. So which one is better? Well, I kind of already told you guys which one is better. It's going to be obvious, but this right here, roofers in the United States, let's just pick roofers. Roofers in the United States doing over 50K a month is going to be way worse in terms of figuring out your ICP than this. Tin roofers in Idaho with their own team doing over 50K a month, looking to scale upward of 100K. Really, even more onto this, I could say, also looking to get out of the process, right? That's something there. The more specific, the better, because then when you make these ads, I'm going to target these people just that much more. They're going to be more trustworthy. They're going to show up more. All of this, right? It's just a positive spiral upwards, I guess you could say. Now, some guidelines between this, as I'll talk about. You're going to market it different per offer, and I'll go over each offer and how you're going to kind of market it with one constant variable, and that variable is going to be AI. So pretty obvious here, but the AI is still a buzzword, right? The AI agency, this is why it's so successful. It's because AI is still a buzzword. It's the hottest thing out there. So we're going to make sure that AI is always there. Now, some essentials in presenting your offer. Number one, AI is the face of your offer, so treat it like so, right? Just like I set up here, AI is going to be the thing you're selling, right? AI, well, not necessarily, and I'll kind of talk about that, but AI is going to be the engine behind the results that you give. That's a good way to put it. It's going to be the engine behind the results that you give. So treat it like so, right? Treat it, make sure people know that you are using AI. Number two, you are not a lead gen or marketing agency. Make sure your prospect know this. This is extremely important, extremely important. At the end of the day, right, the only thing that separates, an AI agency to a lead gen agency is going to be, depending on your offer. Again, it'll depend if you're doing lead gen, if you're doing task automation, all of this. But it's going to be the AI, right? And people hate lead gen companies, right? I think I talked about this below, but a little quick lesson. People hate lead gen companies because they've been burned before, right? Everyone in their grandma runs an SMMA. You're running an AI agency, you are different than a lead gen or marketing agency. You are an AI agency. Make sure people know that. Number three, avoid using terms that lead gen agencies use. For example, lead generation. In my whole entire presentation, in my whole entire, my YouTube videos, all of this, I never use the word lead gen. Never use the word lead generation because it is so negatively associated with marketing agencies and with lead gen agencies. So very important here. Again, this comes off of here, and I'm going to leave this starred because it's going to be a recurring theme. Number four is that it isn't just generic AI solutions. It's the problem you're solving with the use of AI. So if you guys are marketing, you'll know this 100%, right? You don't ever sell the features, you sell the outcomes. Within this, you're not just selling a generic AI chatbot, but you're selling, customer support done with AI, right? You're selling the problem, or you're selling the solution to this problem with the use of AI, right? With AI as the engine, as I said before. And number five, you are an AI consultant. You're not just a vendor, right? This is going to become a commodity. The AI agency is going to become a commodity as you move forward. And you are a consultant. You are the expert. This is what's going to set you apart from everyone else. You're not just a vendor, right? You're not just another lead gen agency who's charging, the cheapest prices you can do. You're an AI consultant, so make sure that you treat it like that. Now, it breaks down into two offers from here. So this is going to be your main for every single offer you have, no matter what it is. It's going to break down into two offers from here. Number one is generating jobs. Then number two is automating and integrating. So number one is making more money, and number one is saving more money. Now there's a lot to that, and I'll explain it. But with generating jobs, this is basically how we're going to do this, right? And how we're going to market this. This is going to be exactly what I talked about before, right? For the most part, this is going to be the most prevalent one to do is through AI ads and then to run them on Facebook. Now, as for guidelines, the wording is everything. So as very similar to what I said before up here, this is better, right? An AI system that puts more jobs in your calendar is better than AI-powered lead gen, right? Because again, you're just going to be put into that same bucket. Sure, you have the word AI on it, and it probably will be marketed better, but still, this is better. As an example, right? As I said, I've been running this business channel for a while. Some of my most popular YouTube videos, and all of them that I've made, none of them have lead gen in it, right? As you can see, how I built an HVAC AI agent that brings in 100K a month in book jobs. In book jobs, right? Very important, very, important detail. I'm not using lead gen there. Same thing with everything there. New solar deals, I said. So wording is everything. It's going to be better because reason, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Already said that. It's not just jobs. These are high quality jobs. So a big thing with the AI agency and with most people, especially in high ticket niches, they've been burned hard before by these lead gen agencies, hard before by these marketing agencies. And another pain point is the quality of the lead. People get a lot of tire kickers. And with the AI, the leads that go through, if you set it up correctly, right, and with the power that we have with this, are always high quality because they go through it and they ensure that they're basically cut off if they're not a real lead, if they're not a high quality lead, so that only the good leads are showing up onto your prospect's calendar, onto your calendar, blah, 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 all of this. Number 3, right, be as far away from being put in the bucket as lead gen as possible. I'm not going to go over this, but just know, you are not a lead gen agency. This is so important. You are not a lead gen agency. Make sure that you are not painted as a lead gen agency. Now, one example from Russell Brunson's book on expert secrets. If you guys haven't read it, highly recommend you read it. It's over here on my bookshelf, not my bookshelf, but I put my books up, read a lot of books, by the way. Make sure you guys check out my Instagram, read a book a week. But that book, super, super valuable. And one idea that Russell Brunson gives here is that people like a new vehicle, a new opportunity in comparison to the old one. So, I believe he puts it like a car, right? Like there's a mountain up here. Let's say this is X on where they are, where your lead gen agency is right now. So this is the present. And then up here is the future, right? And then this is the future that they want. Now, the future is way easier and way more marketed well if it is in a nice little car. That's my car. It's way better if it's in a car than, let's say, a vehicle, or not a vehicle, a bike, right? As Russell Brunson said in his, it's like a sports car is going to be way more valuable. People are going to like a sports car way more than than just like a Toyota Corolla, whatever that is. So that's that, right? Some good guidelines behind there. You guys take notes on this, right? Like this is just tidbits I was going as I was making this video. Then number 2 is the automating and integrating part. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a higher quality audience, very, for the most part. And there's 2 natures of offers here. Number 1 is the automating and the integrating, but it comes down a little bit more. And so getting your time back and then having AI into the sales process. And then a little thing off to the side, there's reactivation. How you're going to market this is going to be important. It's going to be really important, actually. Well, that's the whole thing I'm going over here. But getting your time back, number 1. Now, the main thing here is that we're attacking the pain point that they're working inside the business, not on it. This is a big pain point for people, especially people more established, right? With getting more jobs, you're going to get that lower quality audience. With automating, you're going to get that higher quality audience. Huge pain point there, right? People want to spend time with their family, blah, 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 all of this. Now, some guidelines for this. Frame this as AI can get your time back. Very obvious here, but the whole point of this marketing angle is to target the people who don't have any tools or system in place to run their business without them at the center. I've talked to many people who don't even have a CRM, who don't even have anything to track. They do it all on pen and paper, right? That's, in this day and age, you're not going to get ahead than someone who has all of these systems set up in place. As we're telling them, an AI system can do almost all the manual tasks for them so they can focus on what they want to do, right? A big thing with a lot of the contractors that we talk to, they want to focus on closing deals, right? So we're like, you can focus on what you do best, which is closing deals. A lot of these people are salesmen, so they'll love that. But yeah, the AI can do all those stupid manual tasks that we talked about before up here, right? Like automating reminders, follow-ups, all of this, blah, blah, blah. Number 2 is to double down on the high quality of the AI-powered system. Now, because of this, right, as I'll explain this, a common objection is that, especially with people who are a one-man CEO, they're worried about the quality of the system. Now, they're worried about it for 2 ways. Number 1 is that they've heard those crappy generic chatbots, those AI callers that they call into a business for and can't even do anything. Those are the bad ones, and those leave a bad impression in people's mouth because this is relatively new and a lot of people still don't know what they're doing. So that's 1. And then number 2, with them being a one-man CEO, they've done everything themselves. So, they're hesitant to let go of that. So as you know, right, and I'm telling you right now, if you guys are completely new to this, the quality is there. So we have to rewrite that belief, right? What we can provide, doing it the way that I'm going to tell you in theory on this video, the quality is going to be there. Now, two great ways to do this are to say how the AI acts as a clone of itself with basically all of their styles, all of their knowledge, all of their tone of the business. So especially with the one-man CEO, right? It's more on the cockier side how those people are. But you can say, it's going to be a complete clone of yourself, going to do everything that you want to do, everything you already do. So that's one way to say it. A second way to say it is to contrast basically how good AI is now to a year ago. Because really, if you think about it, this type of AI has only been around for, let's say 3 years, right? 4 years at max. It was, for us to get where we are right now from 0 to 4 years ago was huge. And people still have in their mind what AI was 4 years ago compared to now. So if you contrast it with saying, even a year ago, AI wasn't even as close to what it is now, which is true. Your framing will become better with practice, right? That is going to be a huge thing, obviously framing the AI in an appropriate way. It's going to get better as you practice, but those are two great ways to do that. That's how you're going to do it with the automating, getting the time back side of it. Number two is getting AI into the sales process. This is going to be your AI agents specifically within their funnel, within their sales process. So the main thing here, add AI into the sales process to make it more sales efficient, right? This is the main thing behind us, how we're going to categorize it for ourselves, but it's going to become more sales efficient. Now, some guidelines for this. You're framing basically that you're adding an AI funnel into the process for more conversions. You're not necessarily going to say, we're gonna add AI into your existing funnel to get you more bookings. You can do that, right? Again, that's not a bad way to do it, but say that you're going to add an AI funnel, right? You're going to completely replace it with an AI funnel. Now, tons of stats back this up, but basically what we're going to do is get those AI-powered sales agents into their funnel to nurture the leads until the appointment. So, as we talked about before with the speed to lead, more that we message them, the more likely it is that they are going to become a client with us. And then from that, you can also say how the moment a lead comes in, they're going to be put into the AI funnel. You can call it a fancier name, right? You can, consult ChatGPT for this. There's a lot of ways that you can go, but stuff like a sub 60-second response time, automated reminders, follow-ups, nurturing, right? They're all really good things to talk about here. And the whole thing behind this, right, is you're just adding the AI funnel into the sales process, right? You're going to make it more sales efficient in every way that you can. Now, the main selling point here is to get more out of the leads that you're already doing. So you're adding AI into the process, but what exactly does that mean? We're going to get more for what they're already doing. So a good frame and pinpoint to hit here is how an efficient system can bring you more jobs better than more marketing can. So really good way to front end this, right, on your funnel. Get more leads or get X number of leads without paying for more marketing, right? So really good there. But basically, the angle is to maximize what you already pay for. So that angle is really useful here because truthfully, that's what we're doing, right? Everyone who's coming in, we're going to make sure that they turn into a job as best as we can. There's a lot of talking and selling points here, but the main idea is just optimizing the sales process to convert the highest percentage of leads possible. Super effective if you frame it right? Like this isn't something that's just blatantly in their face. This is something that comes more down to the analytics behind the scenes, but nonetheless, extremely effective, extremely good angle to go from there. Now, reactivation. Another good branch that I do want to mention, but basically we're just taking their old leads and contacting them for repeat service. If you guys have seen this, if you guys have done any research on this, this is your low-hanging fruit. As my mentor says, this is going to be the lowest hanging fruit. Now, how you market this though is pretty important. So some guidelines here, similar to the AI sales funnel, basically you're getting more from no extra marketing, right? Now here is, again, your lowest hanging fruit, and it's relatively easy to do as long as you have a lead list. We had one of our clients, he was struggling a little bit on the ad spend side. He was one of our first clients that we got, so it was a little bit lower quality. But we were saying, like let's do a reactivation. This guy has never kept track of any of the leads he's ever done. And that's going to be some people you run into. So you have to have a lead list, but you're just using who they already have and advertising again for the cost of pennies, right? For the cost that it costs you to set it up on your CRM and send the messages, That's all you're gonna do, right? For potentially, $10,000, $20,000 jobs, depending on your niche. It's really good, right? Your lowest hanging fruit, as I said. And the whole frame is that you get more from the same leads with no extra spend. So on the AI sales side, it's like you get more from no extra marketing because the leads are still coming in. This one is you get more from the same leads, right? So that is really good. Now, a good frame to note here is that this works extremely well as an upsell or a hidden offer type of deal. So on the front end, arguably the three that I talked about are going to be better to market for, but this works very well for like a hidden upsell or offer kind of deal. Now, the fourth thing I want to go over is the sales process. Now, the sales process is, in my experience, right, because I've been doing this for a year, something that I've never seen talk about. And with my agency, with me and my boy running our agency, we went 1 for 14 on show ups. 1 for 14 on our first, 14 calls that we booked. And the guy that we did book, God bless his heart, he showed up to the call. He was drunk as you know what. He was laying on his couch and this guy was like falling asleep on the call. So without a good sales process, right, this is what it can bring you. So this is what I'm going to go over and how to set this up correctly. So now, the basics of the offer that we're going to run, right, the basics of the sales process within the offer that we're going to run is going to look like this. We're going to have our Facebook ad, our Instagram ad, wherever we're running it on. We're going to have our landing page, which is just going to be an application and booking. You don't want to have a two-step, or you don't want to have an opt-in and a booking. You're going to have a pre-call video with frequently asked questions. I'll show you guys an example here down below. You're going to have your intro call with the setter. You're going to have automated reminders, AI follow-ups, and email sequences. And you're going to have your sales call with the closer. So extremely brief overview, high-level overview. That is how that is going to look. Now, for the Facebook ad, this is very self-explanatory, right? Same process that you're going to run your, your offer with the ads. It's how you're going to create it. So that is how it's going to look on there. You're going to have a landing page, which is the application and the booking. So this is where we'll direct the traffic to Facebook. Now, the reason that it's application and booking, to have a two-step, and I've been, studying Jeremy Miner, studying marketing is my thing, right? Marketing is my life. To have a two-step, you get 50% reduced bookings. 50% reduced bookings. Maybe your quality is there, but at the end of the day, there's better ways to do it. I'll explain how to. But it's going to look like this, right? Have your company name there, or whoever you're targeting. Have your headline there, right? And then your calendar and your qualification questions, or if you have it on a form, blah, blah, blah. Now, to set this up the best way possible, set it up with Typeform. Now, if you guys don't know what Typeform, search it up, right? It's like those questions. If you guys have ever gone through a funnel, it's like questions you can add. Then you're going to add all those questions. You can have conditional logic in there, completely disqualify people. Then at the end, it's going to go into your calendar, right? So people can book it directly on the same page. Now, if you don't have the budget for this, because this is like, I think $60 a month. So definitely a little bit up there, especially as you increase your tech stack. But if you are in a budget, you can just go with the Go High Level one where it's straight to booking. You want to have your booking page first. And then as soon as you click on this, you're going to go through it. You're going to have questions, whatever questions you want to add to basically, qualify them per the call, have their name, have their phone, have their email, all of this. One thing I'll do, I think I'll make like a Go High Level tutorial as well. On the snapshot below, we'll have like a rough template of the basic landing page that you guys can do. So you guys can check that out. But that's how that's going to look. Again, have your booking first, but ideally set up your Typeform. Number 2 is going to be your pre-call video and your FAQs. So it's going to look something like this, right? Pre-call video, if you guys don't know what a pre-call video is, it's like basically educating your audience on the thing that it is that you have, setting the expectations, getting them more, sell them, right? Sell them more before the call. That's going to be huge. And then FAQs. So the best way to do this is to set it up with videos. Now, if you're just starting out, if you don't have a good background, for me, it's a little bit difficult to get a good background for myself. But if you don't have any data on this, I recommend you guys just put it as, like a drop-down text for now. But as you get that data, as you have those constantly asked questions, frequently asked questions, you guys can add those as like 5-minute videos, 2-minute videos. It's gonna be more engaging. It's gonna make you look more professional. And then that's what you're gonna do there. It's gonna come with data and with videos. So again, just as I talked about, that's going to come with data as you close more people, as you're going to have frequently asked questions, and then you're just going to set up those videos there. So from there, we're going to go into the intro call on the setter. So basically, as someone calls as a lead books into the Facebook, as a lead opts in from the Facebook ad, someone is going to call the lead ASAP after they book, or if they fill out an application and they don't book. So for example, if you're doing a lead form, or if you're doing for a two-step, if you want to do a two-step funnel, we're just going to get a setter. Now you can do this with AI. I recommend if you guys are new to this, again, if you guys are actually trying to start this, do this yourself, because this skill is going to be very, very important for you to do it. But you're just going to do this, right? You can have a mini script. This is our script. You know, we start the call like, you know, if we're calling randomly, hey name, you know, what's going on? It's Liam from remodeling, blah, 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 whatever. So you guys will get that as you go. You guys can, you know, see that as you go. You guys can join the free Discord, by the way. You can text me any questions. I can hook you up with a little bit of the sauce. This is our team, so I don't know how much I can give away with that. But regardless, you know, ask us questions about that. We can set you in the right direction. The two goals for this is to, number one, qualify, and then number two is to get them excited for the demo. So think of that, right? As you're doing this call, number one is to qualify so that you're not wasting your time on the call. And number two, get them excited for the demo so that they actually show up, right? Increase that show up rate. Number four on this process, or number five, I guess, is the automated reminders, the follow-ups, and the email sequences. Now, basically what this is, how this is all going to work is through your Go High Level setup, right? This is all going to be automated. And you're going to do this, right? Like your booking reminders, it's going to be pretty basic there. Your reverse CTAs on these are going to be important, right? Like if you're not going to show up, cancel this call right now. You know, get people to show up. Just a little bit of psychology, marketing, copywriting there. You're going to set up your make agents as well, right? Because that's going to automate your follow-ups. If they have any questions, they're going to automatically answer it. And then you're going to set up the hammer them email strategy. So if you guys don't know what the strategy is, basically we're just educating them, sending them some testimonials. Then that'll just increase the chance that they show up for the call at the end of the day. So that's how that's going to work. And then the last thing is the sales call with the closer. Now, closing is a huge part of this. And I'm not going to touch on this a lot because at the end of the day, you know, there's probably better sources for you to learn your sales on. But basically, right, we're just going to have, you know, an AI sales presentation, just explaining what we do, right, answering their frequently asked questions, shooting down any objections, pre-handling them. Then, right, just pretty basic on that side. Now, number five is the pricing. Now, the pricing is going to be pretty important as well. One thing that, you know, the gurus preach on and on again, charge 10K up front, 2.5K retainer to mom and pop shops. That's bonkers. I'm going to show you guys how to actually price your stuff. So number one is going to be the job offer. Number two is going to be the sales process offer. Then number three is going to be the automation. So we're going to go through the pricing on each of those three. So for the job offer, right, this is going to be where we offer to get them more jobs, right? 5 to 12 jobs per month, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be where you run ads most likely. Now, the best way to do this is going to be a relatively small PIF. What a PIF is a paid in full, basically like your upfront payment with a pay per estimate. Now, I like to stay away from retainers. And the reason I like to stay away from retainers is that every single marketing agency, every single lead gen agency does retainers, right? And we want to stay as far away from possible. And we want to actually incentivize ourselves. This is another big thing. This is performance-based model. We're going to incentivize ourselves to work as well to get our clients results. So when they succeed, it's when we succeed, right? But basically, right, small PIF with a pay per estimate, pay per job, pay per schedule model. So an example is like 2,000 up front, right? 1,997 up front. You cover get the system set up, and then $100 per appointment, right? Or whatever. Do it based on, the ticket of your job. If you're doing extremely high ticket, you might want to have that like 500, 750, 1,000, I don't know. But that's just an example on how to do it. Now, for the sales process and for the automation, this falls into a very similar bucket, and I'll explain that. But this is going to be more of a paid in full, more of an upfront offer because we can't really measure with jobs. Now, you could try to get on a pay per result basis for the sales process, right? For the AI agents that we're going to implement into the funnel. But it is going to be hard to implement simply because, right, if people are already running their own marketing, every single lead that we get them, we're going to get it as well. And chances are they're not going to want to do that. So from there, again, basically you want a monthly fee after the 3-month mark as well, just to keep that LTV up, right? And if they like your system, if they get you more jobs, you're going to happily pay that. Now, don't frame it as a retainer, right? Frame it as a system management. Now, this is, a little bit, people might disagree with me on this, but again, you want to stay as far away from a retainer as possible and basically say, for us to keep, manage the AI system, make sure we're always improving, always optimizing. It's gonna be $1,000, right? 900, 9, 7, whatever. So system management with a more paid in full offer. So an example of this, right? Let's say 5,000 up front, plus 750 to 2,000 per month after 3 months to manage the system, right? Make sure it's working, make sure we're optimizing, blah, blah, blah. So those are the best ways to price your 2 offers. Now, fulfilling the offer. This is going to be huge. And I think in the future, I'm going to make a video specifically on client fulfillment to agency. They overlap with a lot of the things that we do, which is nice. But we'll go over fulfilling offer. Now, from the guru's perspective, this is how they say to fulfill the offer. The client pays us. We use that money for expenses. We build the service. We give the service to the client, right? So basically, we just white label everything, right? We collect the payment. We give it to an Indian offshore developer to do. We keep the profits. That's bonkers. You can't delegate what you don't know. This is a huge lesson I've learned. You have to do it yourself. You have to learn it yourself before you delegate. This is so important. And this is going to be the thing that, a lot of people don't talk about, because what sounds better, right? Being able to get $10,000 up front and not do anything and keep 8,000 of it, or for you to do all of it yourself, learn the whole process. It's your butt if anything goes wrong. And, you're spending a lot of time, but you keep, okay, let's say you keep more profit. But a lot of people are going to say that the other one is better, right? It's not realistic. It is not realistic at all. You have to do it yourself. Now, as a high level overview, how this is going to look and how the fulfillment is going to work. So you're going to have onboarding. You're going to have the assets that you're going to have. Then you're going to build out the systems. So how the onboarding is going to look, basically, we're just going to go on an onboarding call to get the necessary information and to set expectations. The 2 main things that we're going to do there. And then that comes down, the necessary information we're going to do is the assets. And then the expectations, some good expectations you can have there, right? You might be a little bit more buttery on the front end by saying like, yeah, we'll do X for you. You're never going to lie, never ever lie, right? You don't want to break that trust right away, but set realistic expectations, right? How long is it going to take to get launched? Set that up. Now for assets, there's going to be some main assets you need. Number 1 is you're going to make sure that the agreement and the payment are confirmed. The payment should already be confirmed. If you guys are doing like a deposit and then get the rest of the payment, that's another thing you'll do. Make sure they sign the contract. You guys go through everything so you're on the same page. We had a guy who didn't read our thing and didn't know it was $50 a day with the ad spend. That was a little bit of a pain in the butt. So make sure that everything is confirmed from there. The onboarding form is going to be not automated, but it's going to be a good place where all of your stuff is set up. So some main stuff that you talk about, we have a survey here. Again, I'm not going to show it here because this is our teams. This might be as we progress and I show more and more and I talk with my team more. But basically what you need to do, and this is everything from my form, by the way, you're going to have like the tone of the AI, how you want the AI to sound. If there's certain things you want to avoid talking about, there's certain things you want to talk about. Services to advertise, right? So if they're a roofer, are they going to advertise for high ticket jobs, for new roof replacement, for free estimate, whatever that is. A2P information. So your A2P is going to be what you need to send those text messages. That's going to be important. You need like their business information, their websites, their EIN, right? All of this. If you guys, there's tons of tutorials on how to get A2P verified. It can be a pain in the butt, but if you know what you're doing, that's good. I might even make a video on A2P as well. Location of ads. So obviously where they're going to be running their ads, right? If they're in Denver, Colorado, you're not going to want to advertise in Florida. And then number 5 is just basic information. So like the business name, their email, their address, maybe not their address, but their email, their phone number, so you guys can keep in contact. This is the basic info that you're gonna need. And then from there, you're gonna have Facebook access. So, you know, as I said before, up there, right, you're gonna have your ads manager, your business manager, your basically everything you need to run ads on their behalf if you're running ads. Number 4 is the go high level and the make setup. So with the AI agents, how we're gonna set up the make, we're just basically gonna get them to create their own account. We're gonna set up open AI as well. You're gonna load up the credits. So we're gonna set up, make sure that their account is good on go high level, their calendar is good. We're gonna set up the make and the open AI, then connect it to the go high level. You'll have a snapshot, so it'll automatically be done. It'll just be accounts. Then you book the kickoff call. The kickoff call is the call where you actually launch your stuff. This is a very high level overview on the assets that you're gonna need. Again, this is more theory, and I hate talking about this in this way. I would love to just give all my knowledge, but this will be a 10-hour video, and that's not what I'm looking to do. But that is the very high level overview on how we're gonna do it. Again, if you guys have any questions, join the Discord, DM me on Instagram, whatever you guys need from there. Number 4 is you're gonna build out the systems. So with the information and the logins that you have, you're just gonna start creating, right? So once you have the Facebook access, once you have the go high level and the make and the open AI accounts, that kickoff call is already done. Or sorry, you're gonna do this before the kickoff call. I'm actually going to reduce this. But yeah, basically as soon as you have these, you are off to the races. I'll leave that. So you're off to the races. And a big thing with this, and a big thing that I've heard time and time again, is to do this manually. Now, again, a big thing that all of the gurus tell you is that you're gonna wanna automate this, you're gonna wanna set this to an offshore developer. Don't, right? Learn this yourself. This is so important. You have to learn this yourself. It's gonna be messy. You're gonna do this, you know, it's gonna be wrong. It's gonna be time consuming. You're not gonna do it in the most efficient way possible. But you're gonna learn how to do it, which is the most important thing. So extremely important. Do this all manually. Don't even try to SOP this. Don't try to onboard this as before you've gotten a few reps in. Now, some non-negotiables with this. On the onboarding, you're gonna go over the info on the onboarding form. So the onboarding form that you guys went, you're gonna basically read everything that they have, make sure it's correct. Gonna save you a lot of headaches in the future. You're gonna get them into the communication channels, whether that be Slack or WhatsApp, or we just have some of ours on Messenger, especially if they have Apple. We just find it easier. Their Facebook Business Manager, make sure that is. You've connected their make, and they've created make accounts and open AI accounts, and they have credits loaded onto them, right? So that's not gonna stop if they don't have the money for it. They've logged into their CRM and connected the calendar. That's gonna be another big one to do. And then you guys have booked the launch and the kickoff call. Now, one thing to do as well, BAMFAM, if you guys don't know what BAMFAM is, book a follow-up after, or book a meeting after a meeting. So you never wanna leave a meeting without the lead knowing what the next touch point is. I believe I touch on this later in the video too. But they should leave feeling good about their decision and liking who they are working with, right? So they should think, you know, this Liam guy, I made a really good decision. You don't want to have buyer's remorse, right? You don't want to say, oh, you know, I don't know if I trust these guys. These guys are snappy. They changed their demeanor after I paid them, blah, blah, blah. They should leave feeling good about their decision and liking who they are working with. Very important. And then after this, right, after you have all of this set up, you're just going to build the ads, the sales funnels, and the AI agents. You guys can build it exactly like I've said at the beginning of this video, but that is how that is going to look. Now, before the launch call itself, go over everything, and then on the launch call, do the same with the client. So what I mean by this is before the launch call here, so after you have all of this and after you start building the systems, go over it, test it, make sure that everything is working. And then on the launch call itself, go over it with the client so that basically they can just give you their input, right? You don't want to be on the call with the client, something doesn't work, right? It's not a good look for you. So make sure everything's working before the launch call with the client. So that is how that is going to work. And again, do this all manually. I cannot stress this enough, especially on the onboarding. Do this manually, right? Don't even try to set up any sort of systems. Just understand how it works first. After you have a few reps in, then you can kind of set up a system for yourself. So that is how that is going to work as for fulfillment, right? Again, this is more on the theory, the more nitty gritty I'll make those videos. And if you guys have any questions, hit me up. Happy to respond to them. And then number 7 is client success. This is going to be the last part of this, but this is basically the relationships for the ongoing fulfillment. So for the fulfillment, right, this isn't just a one and done type of thing, right? You're always going to be optimizing. If you're a good agency and you're going to keep these people, very important you optimize, very important that you just continue for your long-term value or your lifetime value and your low churn rate, right? Customer success, not only do you get the money side of it, but you also get experience, right? If it's your first client, that experience is going to be so valuable, right? Because you know the do's and the don'ts. For me, even all the guidelines I've told you, that come from experience. Some of the stuff for client success has come from experience, right? Your testimonial, that's going to be huge too, right? If you kill it for someone, which that should be 100% your goal, especially for your first client, if you kill it for them, they're going to give you a testimonial. Testimonials are way easier to close with, right? Social proof, cognitive bias. It's going to leave a good impression on your new leads, and then your lifetime value, right? You're just going to get more out of that. Now, this doesn't have to be complicated, right? As the golden rule states, just treat them like you would like to be treated. One good example is to kind of open my eyes. There's a guy in our Discord. He's more established in the real estate industry, trying to start his AI agency from there. He has ran ads before with marketing agencies, and he was telling us, like, these are some of the things that I really like from this marketing agency. You know, you guys take notes, right? This is something that I'm really going to double down on. For example, right, if I paid $5K, I would want to be updated like every day, right? Or every 2 days. I would never want to be left for a week without any contact. That would suck, right? I would constantly be thinking, oh, what if these guys scam me? Oh, what if they're not doing what they said they'd be doing? So that is one way. Just treat them like you would like to be treated, right? Golden rule. Now, key thing here, more communication is better than less communication, right? It's better to contact the leads once a day and maybe get a little bit annoyed or annoying than to contact them once a week. Because again, just like I said, if I paid $5K and I'm getting contacted once a week, I'm not going to be happy. So more communication is better than less communication. Remember that. Now, some other key principles to kind of end this off here. As I talked about BAM-FAM, right? Book a meeting from a meeting. You should never have your lead not knowing when the next touch point is. If you hop on a call, always book a call. Always set a date. Always have something that the lead can look forward to contacting you. Number 2, increase communication, right? Keep in contact and update them on things that are relevant. So this is another big thing that a lot of people don't talk about. And once a day is better than once every 2 weeks. Again, just like I said before, but things that are relevant to them. If you guys are, switching to a new open AI model, don't tell them, oh yeah, we're going to be switching to a new open AI model. Hopefully the responses should get better. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Don't tell them that you're going to switch to an open AI model. Tell them, hey, we're doing some changes on the back end that are just going to increase the quality of the responses and get you more leads, right? Get you 5% more leads. That's what they want to know, right? Things that are relevant to them. If it makes them more money, if it saves them, whatever. If it's relevant to them, tell them. If it's not, don't, right? Don't tell them, again, that you're switching an AI model. Tell them what it means for them. Number 4 is dangling the carrot. Now, this is another key principle, especially with client communication. This is going to be huge. But you're always going to give them something to look forward to and from your next, something to look forward to from your next touch point. So an example of this, right? If you end your meeting with saying, yep, we're gonna look over the results. Hopefully everything gets better. We'll keep you updated. That is worse than saying, ending the call on yeah, and John, another thing we're looking to implement is to get a whole new set of ads ready. We're going to see how these ones go, and then we're going to have that set on the go, ready to launch for next week and get those new results. That's going to give them something to look forward to, right? Number 1, they're going to see more value in you, then their churn rate's going to go down. And number 2, they're going to be more likely to respect your time, show up for that call, right? One thing is super annoying, especially as you progress. People who don't respect your time on those calls, going to be so annoying. So you're dangling the carrot, right? You're dangling the carrot right in front of their face. They're going to be more likely to see value and to show up. And then number 4 is to actually care about the results. So don't treat as soon as you get the payment as not important, right? Actually care about delivering the best results. This is something that people fall so victim to. And as much as I almost don't want to say it, it's almost not their fault, because everything that is preached on YouTube, everything that the gurus preach, that the courses preach, is that you're just getting your first client, right? You're just making that money, making that money, making that money, making that money. As soon as you get that though, it is so important to go after that, right? Like if you just worried about acquiring clients, you promise them the world, you bring in the best closer, right? You do all sorts of sneaky, slimy sales tactics. As soon as they pay you and you can't deliver, or you don't care, or you just are putting it off, what do you think is going to happen, right? Like you're not going to get that money. It's going to be a bad experience for you and for the client. Your reputation is going to be put at stake. It's going to be bad, right? You need to give your clients the best results you can possibly get. And that's what's going to separate you from everyone else. You know, AI is increasingly becoming a commodity. It's still in its early stages. But number one, you're going to stand out from everyone on the AI side. Number two, you're going to stand out from the lead gen too, because everyone and their grandma runs a lead gen and they fall victim to this, right? They don't care about their clients. They just care about the money that they get. Then they live off of the technicalities of the contract, and people have bad experiences, right? Like it's just not the way to go. So actually care about the results that you can get their clients. And then maintaining the deal is just important as in closing it. Yeah, exactly what I just said. But all in all, that is the full theory video, right? That is my full first video on how to actually start an AI agency in 2026. Again, the whole thing behind this is to say the stuff that the gurus and the grifters aren't going to tell you, right? Like the stuff that's actually going to happen, how to market it, all of this. And again, this is going to be the first video for me. It kind of sets me up for everything else that I can make, the more nitty gritty, how to set up the AI agents, how to start the ads, all of this. But that is that. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys got value. Again, you guys can DM me on Instagram. Any questions? My goal in this is to give you guys the most value. If I didn't give you the value here, let me know. I will answer that question. I will create content like that in the future. DM me. I respond to everything. Any question, I don't care what it is, hit me up. I will happily respond. But yeah, that's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to join that free AI agency Discord that I talked about completely for free. 350 members already in there, all with the same goals as you. It can be good to network even. And then me and my boy are in there answering questions every single day. So join that. Follow me on Instagram for more daily updates. Like I said, I've been documenting this for day one to, 210 days. That's 7 months straight, I believe. Never miss a day. Well, missed like a couple days, but regardless, make sure you follow that and follow or subscribe for the YouTube for more. I'm going to be giving a ton of value content. Again, this is just like the guideline for me to know what value content to give. So stick around for that, right? I promise you that you guys are going to see value in that. So that's that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And above all, stay wise.